and I've actually not really been there for people around me. So that was a big change for me. Realization, a self-realization, and you know, and I'm really glad it did come at this age and not 20 years later. So I'm using this year to connect with all the people close to me.
I remember what you said to me, which I'd like to share with everyone, when you said you were taking a break, and you're also very conscious of your commitment as a single parent. You're also very conscious of the fact that your mother needed you and you weren't always around for her because you were busy with your career. You were very conscious of the fact that within your both your marriages, maybe time was what they wanted and you couldn't give it, perhaps. And so this break that you're taking, a lot of actors would not dream of taking a career break of this kind, but it's very, very courageous of you to do it.
But you know, my actor friends make fun of me. They're like, you were always on a break. What are you talking about? तू फिल्म में काम करता है जो तू अब break पे है. So,
Well,
but you see, the difference is that now my mind is on people. Earlier, my mind was on films, was you know in you know. So that's been a big difference for me. Uh, Tell me, is it like nerve-wracking, you know, waiting for the response of people who've read your earlier books and you know, uh, at this stage, is it really nerve-wracking? You said you were nervous.
No, I'm only nervous when the process is on. After that, I honestly think of the book. Maybe I'm romanticizing it a bit too much, but once it's published, and I loved how the design team has
Yeah, they've done a wonderful
they've
job.
done a beautiful,
Yeah,
wonderful
yeah,
job
yeah.
of the design. So Paulamy, Trisha, your design team, they're busy having a drink. I don't want to interrupt them. Drinks are
Yeah, it's a
important.
really lovely design.
Yeah, so no, once it's out there, Aamir, it's like, those happiness lanterns or those in Thailand, those
Yeah, yeah,
wish
yeah, yeah,
lanterns.
yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
leave them. So you leave it and you keep following the lantern till it's just a tiny little speck of gold in the sky.
Yeah.
And you keep wishing, and then it disappears and it's in space and you disconnect. And then it's no longer yours. So I feel that way about the book. It's great to see it at airports, it's great to see it with people, but it's not that I'm paralyzed at all by reactions
Right.
or I'm preoccupied with how it will be reviewed. And perhaps for the first time in my acting career, acting, whoops, writing
Writing
career,
career, yeah.
writing career,
Yeah.
Lilette, I took your line. Uh, I have received the most incredibly warm reviews,
Wow.
and I can say why, Aamir.
Mm.
They're not from my contemporaries.
Oh.
Loaded response.
Oh. No, I didn't get it.
Contemporaries will never ever say anything wonderful about
Oh, okay.
you. Never. I mean,
But
the
that's sad.
first few reviews were so devastating. I should have crawled into a little hole and never gotten
Oh
out.
no. Okay.
Today it's young India, and young
That's
India
right.
is much more accepting, much more open. They don't come with any preconceived ideas.
Sure.
They're not judging you. They look at the book and they couldn't care less. They like it or they don't like it. They don't care who's written it, uska aage piche kya tha, none of that. That's how they look at movies as well. That's how they respond to music
Sure.
and everything. So I'm very glad that I've managed to impress young India. That's for me a huge, huge big plus.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Tell me, what is the in the book? What is your favorite part in the book? What is the one maybe incident or one thing that really moves you the most, or is closest to your heart?
Well, the book started off the working title for the book was Searching for Anuradha, which
Oh.
is my birth name.
Oh.
So Anuradha it began as a quest. Well, where is that little Maharashtrian girl? What happened to her?
Right.
And then
You
somewhere
were
along
born in Mumbai.
in Satara.
You were born in Satara.
Yeah. When my
Wow.
father was a district judge there.
Right.
And that birth name was Anuradha based on my nakshatra. Now the nakshatra is the 17th in the hierarchy of nakshatras. And the emotions or attributes connected to Anuradha, the nakshatra, are fragility.
Oh.
Fragility.
Right.
So maybe my inner fragility is all emerging Finally,
Right.
I have found Anuradha, is what I'm thinking at the end of the book.
Wow.
Seriously, because I'm still looking.
Yeah.
But it ends with my saying that finally Anuradha is where she wants to be. This is the last line of the book. So that little Maharashtrian girl, and I said it earlier, it's worth repeating that I can almost hear my parents, wherever they may be, chuckling at this woman, this person sitting here, and saying, maybe in Marathi, of course, to me, की काय समजतेस तू स्वतःला काय तू इतकी हाय फाय शोभाडे आहेस का असं काही नाही तू अनुराधाच आहे आणि अनुराधाच राहशील which is in a way so reassuring.
I know what you mean. I know
So
what you mean.
reassuring because
Yeah.
it's back to roots, it's back to knowing. But I never did forget Anuradha. It was all, the little Maharashtrian
Always
girl
with
was always there. So if
But-
my parents were to say, की तू इथे तिथे जाऊन फुआग्रा खाशील आणि काय खाशील, पण भाकरी येऊन रात्री खाणार की नाही? It's a fact.
That's
It is that bhakri which I still eat every night. It is that bhakri which sustained me. And it's the bhakri which I value the most.
Right. You know, tell me a bit about your childhood. How many years did you live in Satara? How long were you there?
No, just 2 years when my
2
father
years.
was transferred to the Ministry of Law Central in Delhi. So formative years were very Delhi. And I liked it better as a child than I do now. I avoid Delhi at all costs. But back then I enjoyed it because Delhi had seasons, Aamir, which
Right.
we don't in Mumbai. We have hot and we have wet.
Well, now it's getting cool. Nowadays it's quite chilly. Yeah?
And
I'm
the
a
pollution
strong Mumbaiite. I always say, यार December में अच्छा chill हो जाता है.
5 दिन के लिए. But we love that.
Yeah. So, tell me, how? I mean, amongst all the books that you've written now, when you look back at your work, how do you look at it? Do you compare one book with the other? How do you feel about the work that you've previously done?
I like some of it. I hate some of it. I'm embarrassed by some of it. That's the truthful answer. Some I feel, yeah, okay, I really like what I said then. That's if I ever go back. I'm not one for looking back. I'm very much a creature of the moment.
Right.
And I'm not even saying I look ahead. To me, it's the here and now. Right now, I'm here with you. We're talking about this book, and this has value for me. So the old books, well, it's like saying, I don't know, you can learn a lot from your old books, but what more do I need to learn at this stage which will somehow make me into a Nobel laureate? It's never going to happen, right? These are my books. I'm proud of all of them.
That's
I
right.
love them.
That's
But it's like asking who's your favorite child kind of a thing. It's a
Correct.
trick question. So even if you have a favorite child, you're never going to acknowledge it.
Yeah, I asked you this because I want to know what I should answer when I'm asked this question. I'm always asked, which is your favorite film? I have no idea. So I said, let me try
You
to
say
name.
happy batao because your films are watched by millions and millions. You turn it around and say, which is yours? That's mine also.
You've had such a colorful life, such an amazing life, with so vibrant and so full of experiences. How much of that we'll get to see in this book?
Aamir, read it. A lot,
Okay.
I promise you.
No, I'm planning to read it. I'm going to start on my way back in the car. Yeah, I
I
promise
knew
you.
it.
Yeah,
I
no,
knew
I've
he
been
was going
looking
to
forward
wing
to
it,
that.
but he had told me. It's really, I mean, I honestly think it's not because I'm here to sell my book at all, but it's a great book. I said it.
No, I'm sure it is.
I love it.
I'm sure it is.
I really enjoyed writing it, and I think that comes through because it's very layered. It's not. I mean, there are a lot of young, earnest reporters who come and ask me, "So, madam, ये ऐसे खाने वाली किताब है, तो इसमें recipes भी बहुत सारे होंगे, so और खाना पकाना कैसे and all of it." So, I have to keep specifying that it's not a food book.
It's not a cookbook. No?
It's not a cookbook. There are no recipes. Maybe recipes for life, perhaps, but not even those in a conventional sense. It's really a book that's celebratory in tone. It celebrates experiences, sounds, smells, music, art, poetry, as I experience it in that 1 year.
Right.
And food is at the center of it all. I mean, there's eccentric food, you know, like crazy food. When I was in Kerala, a lady asked me, she said, "Madam, you have recommended banana chips, crushing banana chips and having them on Hakka noodles." I said, it's actually try it. Because, I mean, unless we experiment with
Yeah,
food, why should we be straight-laced? Why should we be purists?
Yeah.
Why should we have food critics telling us how we should eat? I mean, there's no such thing as the ultimate Bible of food. We have our own palates. Why shouldn't we trust our own palate,
Sure.
our own taste buds? So I like doing, you know, pagalpan with food.
What is
Mixing
your
up
favorite
stuff.
cuisine?
Japanese,
Oh, Japanese.
because it's very subtle and it's also quite close to Maharashtra
Yeah.
in its own
Yeah?
crazy mad
Is
way.
it?
Fish, rice.
No.
Of course, just
No,
because
the
the Maharashtrians don't
ingredients
have
may be fish
sushi.
and rice, but
Just because we don't have sushi.
well, you know, whenever I'm
Fish and rice.
Yeah.
And subtle. And not masala. And not,
It's not cooked.
overcooked.
It's not cooked much.
It's steamed.
Yeah.
And there is a certain refinement like
yeah.
we Maharashtrians have. So it's.
You know, I have to say I'm hardcore Indian food eater. So Japanese cuisine, I have to keep checking.
कि ये खाना है?
नहीं ये पका है ना खाना. It's cooked because I can't eat. I find it
Raw.
difficult to eat raw. Yeah.
Raw.
Yeah.
No, I avoid the raw, but
So
I
within
like
India,
some.
what is your favorite cuisine?
The Bengali for sure.
Ah.
Not only because I'm married to a Bengali, but also because of that. I'm exposed to it day in and day out. Every day of my life, we're eating Bengali cuisine.
Right.
But it's also the sophistication of the cuisine, the completely richness of even everyday dishes. It's not a simple cuisine. I mean, they get hysterical over how vegetables are cut, for example. There can be major fights if the vegetable is cut wrong.
It's cut wrong.
Then
No,
I've
it's a very
been
refined form of cooking.
very
So it's-
refined.
Yeah.
I've
Actually,
also-
as is a lot of regional cuisines in India.
But more so the
Over the
Bengalis.
years.
I mean, I've never been to another Indian home for a dinner where the first 20 minutes are devoted to discussing the beauty of a dead fish, topshe mach. 20 minutes of how absolutely exquisite it is to look at,